This is concerning. Browns are averaging an NFL low 2.4 yards per carry in the first half of their games, running the football. That's concerning. That's got to be a whole lot better. So you're in a lot of second and longs, which is another reason Joe Flacco may look old and slow.
Yeah, I mean, look, some of this is the Ravens basically just said, we're not letting Joe Flacco throw the ball down the field. We are going to drop our DBs back and force the Browns to work underneath, especially when you get into second and long, third and long, and we're just not going to let you beat us that way. And in that scenario, the Browns, one, didn't catch the ball very well. They didn't create separation very well. The Ravens loaded up on DBs on the field and basically said, you're not going to beat us this way. And the Browns were like, yeah, you're right. That is problematic. So to your point, the Browns rushing game has to get better. Again, I don't think the offensive line was necessarily the problem this week. I actually thought they were better. What you have to sort of look at is Quinshon Judkins and where this thing can go. He had one padded practice and then immediately thrown into the game and honestly looked pretty good. Just from a size, speed element, he is completely different from everybody else on the roster. Obviously, he's enormous compared to Dylan Sampson, who's 5'8", 200 pounds. And then he's just so much more explosive and confident in his athletic ability compared to Jerome Ford. And from that standpoint, you immediately look at it and you go, I understand why the Browns thought this would be somebody to bet their offense around in terms of that. So now you have had him play significant reps. He generated the one explosive play, which in the grand scheme of things didn't matter in terms of the game, but was probably good. The Browns probably internally are thinking, yes, this is good because it's going to sort of get him going and feeling like he's confident and heading into a better direction this week, particularly when you're going to be facing the Packers. It's going to be even that much more important for them to get the ground game going to try to keep their pass rush at bay. So, yeah, I mean, this is the problem they're running into is you're allowing teams to, one, stop the run and then just drop everybody back and say you're not going to beat us deep. And there's not a whole lot of plays they can call. They're going to fix that problem. And the Ravens did a significantly better job than the Cincinnati Bengals in terms of taking away plays to the flats, those little passes that they were able to make that sort of circumvented the lack of a running game. The Ravens took that away without issue. So that is where that offense sort of went to die. And even having said all that, they still outgained the Ravens, and it just comes down to the fact they need to do a better job of capitalizing on the opportunities they have.
Yeah, Judkins looked just, and again, it was what, 12 carries, something like that. He looked pretty patient, and he seemed to understand where the cutback lanes were. There's an innate part of that he seems to have. So I want to see more of him. I think I'm with you 100%. I see exactly why they would try to build Kevin Stefanski's run game around him.
Yeah, I mean, look, in terms of athleticism, he's absolutely one of the best. In the combine, everything else, he tested like a complete freak show in terms of agility and all these other things. I don't even know how good his vision is, but his athleticism is so good that he can make up for it with his change of direction, his explosion, and just his outright speed. So yeah, I mean, look, I think in some ways, it was just a huge gut punch. And obviously, with the criminal investigation, the league investigation, if he did what he's accused of, so be it. He deserves whatever he gets. But if you're sitting there and you're punching enough holes in this case, you also have this little bit of part of you who says, I don't know really if it happened and if he was sort of lost all this time for something he didn't actually do. There's this innate unfairness. Regardless of the circumstances, the Browns lost something by not having him all this time. And yes, they can get him back, and they got him in week 2, and he was able to sort of make an impact. But you can see the lag in terms of the offense and production and everything else that they might have if he was sort of full go the entire way. And now they're playing catch up.